Hello all, in this video we will see how to set up a PCB before starting your PCB routing. Okay, so the PCB that you see here in the window is where the placement is completed, and then we are actually about to start the routing. Okay, now when you root, you will have traces, you will have vias, and you need what trace width you want to run, what via size you want to have, and basically what is the spacing between them. All these design settings are to be done. So for this settings, go to file. Okay, go to board setup, let the window open. So this is the board setup. Now in this we have to go to the design rules. So in the design rules we have something called constraints. So constraints are like basically different things which are related to your via sizes, which are related to your seal screen settings, and which are related to your copper traces on the board. So if you see here in the copper, we have a minimum clearance. So that means this is trace to trace clearance. So this is 0.3 mm. We want at least a minimum of 0.3 mm. Now all these settings that we are doing here are depending on the PCB manufacturer that you will be using. If your manufacturer has a capability lesser than whatever clearance that we are giving, you have to set it up. So you need to know your manufacturer settings before doing it. And then you can see here, this is very helpful. When you place the mouse cursor here, you can see the clearance, minimum clearance related definition is very clear. Okay, similarly for other things as well. So if you have any doubt on entering any of the specific parameter, you can get to know. So now as we have entered minimum clearance, the next thing is minimum track width. Okay, this is understood, right? What is the trace width you want to route on the PCB, and then minimum connection width. This you can keep 0, and minimum annular ring and via diameter. These are the via settings. What is the via diameter you want, and what is the minimum annular ring you want. All these settings can be done here. And then copper to the trace to the via spacing, and board edge to the routing spacing. So we have all the traces, we have set such that all the traces will be routed only within 0.5 mm. So these are all the rules basically. It doesn't mean it guarantees that your PCB layout will be done with these when you route, and when you run the design rule checks, it will check against these settings, and then it will report errors, and it is the responsibility of the PCB layout engineer to clear all those errors. And then these are the hole sizes. What is the through hole size, and what is the hole to hole clearance. And we are not using micro via, we are just ignoring these settings for now. And the seal screen, let us keep as is. And then there is a specific tolerance which is being mentioned here. We can keep that as is. And there is something called predefined sizes. In this we have tracks, width, bias, and differential pairs. So if you see here, the track width is mentioned as 0.3 mm. If you want to add one more, you can have 0.4 mm. Okay, and then 0.5 mm. Okay, so you can add the default track width here. And then this is the whole via hole size, and the annular ring diameter you can add as per your requirements. And then differential pairs. So where these particular settings help is whenever you want to start your routing. And when you draw a trace, you can select of which width you want to route, and you can also select which via sizes you want to route. For now, let us keep it as hole size as 0.4 and the annular ring diameter as zero point 0.3. That is what we are planning to use. So this is the default, this is the setting we want to use. Okay, and then there'll be net classes. So net classes, what does it mean is, whenever you want to apply specific rules to a group of signals in a PCB, you can use net classes, and you can define all those parameters here. Okay, for now we are doing a simple board. For now we are ignoring that. And then there's something called custom rules. So any rule which you want beyond what is set here, and if you want to define your own rule, you can always write a small script here. Okay, and then the violation severity. Now let us assume we have set our constraints and we started routing, and there were some violations. So example, let us assume track width, we by mistake chosen 0.2 mm, and the requirement was only 0.3 mm. Okay, so in the constraints we have already set as 0.3 mm. In case, let us assume we have defined predefined size as 0.2 here, and constraint has 0.3 and we have routed 0.2. In that case, if you want to report an error, you can select error, or if you want that particular violation to be warning, you can put, or if you want to ignore it, you can ignore it. Okay, likewise there are settings for via sizes, track to track spaces, and board edge to your routing clearance, whatever you have done. So all these settings can be done here. So now once this is all the settings are done, click OK. And now if you go here, you are about to start your routing. Now you have defined the track widths, and you also defined a via sizes, right? So if you go here, you can see all the track widths which we have defined: 0.3 mm, 0.4 mm, 0.5 mm are mentioned here. Okay, and the via size we have kept only one, right? 0.3 by 0.4. This only is available. So before starting with anything, let us assume if you want to have 0.3 track width, and if you want to have via of 0.3 by 0.4, from the drop down you select your requirement and then start routing. So this is all about setting your design constraints before starting your PCB routing. So any PCB engineer must set these constraints as per the demands of their PCB fabricators, and then they have to move ahead with the routing. Else, once the PCB is completed and the PCB fabricator comes back that your design is not manufacturable, okay, or your PCB cannot be fabricated and it's a complete rework, or we have to go to another fabricator who might be little costly or whatever. So we do face lot of challenges if these design rules are not set in accordance with the manufacturing requirements. Hope we gave a glimpse of what are these design rules, and what are the settings to be done before starting the routing. Please post if you have any questions. Thank you.